I feel humbled to be part of this prestigious event and to express my views. As a woman, mother, actress, and a politician, I feel extremely privileged to be addressing the delegates from all over India and so many other countries on an issue that is rooted in the global context. Political participation of women in any country gives an overview of the status of women in that country because it is the people in political power who are the decision makers. The decision makers sow the seed of what the society grows up into. The extent of participation of women in a country's politics plays an important role in both shaping the values of the society and in reflecting them. To have a strong democratic governance, women's equal participation is a must, and therefore their contribution to this process needs to be analyzed in the appropriate context. Women constitute about 50% of the world's population. In relation to this, the global scenario with regards to the participation of women in politics and decision-making does not seem to be very encouraging. The global average for women in parliament stands at 22.4%. India is at the 103rd place out of 140 countries with a mere 12% representation. Countries like South Sudan and Saudi Arabia have a better women representation in parliament than India. And we call ourselves the largest democracy. There cannot be a real democracy if the voices and issues of a woman that constitute half the population are ignored or sidelined. Decision-making becomes beneficial to the entire country when it reflects the collaboratory inputs from all members of the community without discrimination. Looking at the state of erstwhile United Andhra Pradesh, Honorable late Chief Minister Sri N.T. Ramarao Garu, ఆయనతో నేను చాలా సినిమాలు నటించాను, had pioneered various schemes for women like reservation in local bodies, equal rights in ancestral properties, educational opportunities like self-help groups and other empowerment opportunities. And these legacies are being carried forward by Honorable Chief Minister Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu during his tenures. But a lot more needs to be done at the national and also grassroots levels in the states. The core problem in India is the patriarchal societal setup. India is the largest democracy in the world, but that is at a micro level. The question is, are we at micro level democratic? Are we democratic in our households? India has one of the strongest laws that provide women a life of honor and dignity. But the customs, patriarchal setups, and societal norms have always treated us as subordinate to men. And the first to break these laws are we women ourselves. We do not give power to ourselves and to our own kind. When a woman stands up for a cause, it is more often than not other women who pulls her down to acceptable norms. We are taught to be submissive and subordinate, and this teaching is almost ingrained in us. It is passed down from generation to generation because we do not stand up and question it. We give the patriarchs of our household the power to rule our lives. In India, even if a woman is elected to office, it is not surprising to see the husband or father or brothers of an elected woman being seated in their office and making decisions instead of them. One of the key challenges faced by women is lack of education, which hinders our upward mobility. This gap needs to be bridged by providing quality education to women in the country. Awareness about their rights and privileges as mentioned in the Constitution can only be ensured once women are appropriately educated. The issue of gender-based violence and provision of safety and security of women should also be addressed on a priority basis to promote gender equality in the social and political arenas. It is the need of the hour in a country like India to have equal participation of women in mainstream political activity. Society needs to be deconstruct the stereotype of women as a limited to household activities only. One of the most important provisions that almost all the countries with better women's representation in politics have ensured is to create constitutionally mandated quotas or reservation for women. Although I do understand the importance of quotas when it comes to a marginalized section of society, I do want to state that quotas are temporary. Reservations are all right to use as a crutch till we can start walking again. But by no means should we let our dependency on reservation become a given. Because reservations and quotas will only give us at best 20 to 25% of representations. And we are way more than that. We cannot be content with mere scraps. We have to rise above that. Equality does not ask for reservations. Equality is our right and it is guaranteed by our Constitution. The only thing stopping us from this equality is ourselves. The day we realize that there is no need for quota is the day we will become a truly democratic race. And that is the day when we women will stand at par with our counterparts. We are not their better halves. We are not asking for a biggest share. We are only asking for what is rightfully ours, and we shall have it. Thank you.
ఎక్కడ తన పాత్ర వరకు చేయాలో ఏది గైడ్ చేయాలో అంత మాత్రమే చేశారు. ఆ విధంగా ఈరోజు నేను గైనకాలజిస్టుగా ఒక సేఫ్ ఫార్మా ఇండస్ట్రీలో 300 మంది వర్కర్స్కి ఒక మేనేజింగ్ డైరెక్టర్గా ఉండగలుగుతున్నాను అంటే అది మా నాన్నగారు ఇచ్చినటువంటి భిక్ష.